The Forgotten Gift. The Galactic Senate chamber echoed with condescending laughter as representatives from 15 star-spanning civilizations watched the holographic display. The vote had been unanimous. Give the upstart humans a ship, but make it a message rather than a gift. Humanity had only joined the galactic community 3 years prior, emerging from their backwater solar system with a barely functioning warp drive that somehow defied theoretical limitations. The Senate saw them as clever children who needed to be kept in their place. Ambassador Thrixel of the Valerian Empire leaned forward, mandibles clicking with satisfaction. The Harbinger was scheduled for recycling anyway. Let the humans have their toy. They'll spend decades just trying to make it spaceworthy. The ship in question appeared on the main display. The Harbinger, once a prideful battlecruiser during the frontier wars, now stripped of weapons, engines, and most of its hull plating. Little more than a floating skeleton of twisted metal and empty corridors. 2 months later, the human delegation stood in Earth's lunar shipyards, watching their gift arrive via automated tug drones. Captain Sarah Chen, formerly of the United Earth Space Force, studied the wreckage through the observation window. Her team stood behind her, 25 specialists handpicked from various backgrounds. "That's what they think of us," muttered Lieutenant James Rodriguez, the team's chief engineer, a garbage skull masquerading as a ship. Chen turned to face her crew, a small smile playing on her lips. "Good. Let them underestimate us." "Rodriguez, what do you see?" The engineer squinted at the hulk. "Quantum phase hull structure. Looks like Carillion design. The frame's still intact. That's the hard part. Everything else we can work with." Dr. Amara Okoye, their materials scientist, nodded enthusiastically. "The metallurgy alone is worth studying. I'm detecting trace elements our periodic table doesn't even recognize." Chen clapped her hands. "All right, people. We've got 6 months to turn this heap into something that'll make the Senate reconsider their assumptions about humanity. Let's get to work." The first week aboard the Harbinger was a test of human adaptability. Without functioning life support, the crew worked in EVA suits, setting up temporary habitat modules in the least damaged sections. The ship's AI core had been gutted, leaving only basic navigation subroutines. Marcus Wong, their software specialist, spent days mapping the remaining systems. "It's like they deliberately sabotaged anything useful," he reported. "But they missed something. The quantum computing substrate is still intact. If I can reverse engineer their architecture." Meanwhile, Rodriguez's engineering team discovered something unexpected in the lower decks. "Captain, you need to see this," he called over the comm. Chen made her way down, finding Rodriguez standing before a sealed compartment. "What is it?" "Backup power core," he said, running his hand along the alien script. "They thought they'd removed everything, but this was hidden behind a false bulkhead. It's not much, but it's a start." As weeks turned to months, the Harbinger slowly transformed. Human ingenuity proved more adaptable than alien assumptions. The team integrated Earth technology with salvaged alien systems, creating hybrid solutions that shouldn't have worked but did. Dr. Okoye developed a new alloy by combining human metallurgy with the ship's existing structure, creating hull plating stronger than anything either species had produced alone. Wong cracked the AI architecture, developing an interface that merged human intuitive design with alien processing power. But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Maya Patel, their youngest crew member and a recent graduate from the Mumbai Institute of Advanced Physics, discovered something in the ship's damaged sensor array. "The focusing crystals," she explained excitedly to Chen. "They're not just for sensors. They can channel energy at quantum frequencies, if we modify them correctly." Chen raised an eyebrow. "You're suggesting we turn sensor equipment into weapons?" "Not just weapons," Patel said. "Adaptive energy systems, shields, propulsion, weapons, all from the same source. The aliens compartmentalize their technology. We don't have to." The crew worked around the clock, driven by a mixture of pride and determination. They scavenged parts from decommissioned satellites, repurposed industrial equipment, and even incorporated technology from Earth's various space programs. 6 months after receiving their gift, the Harbinger was ready for its first test flight. The ship that emerged from the lunar shipyards bore little resemblance to the wreck that had arrived. Sleek human design panels covered the alien frame. Hybrid engines glowed with an eerie blue light. Most importantly, the crew had kept their modifications subtle. To external scans, it still appeared to be the same derelict vessel. As they powered up the main systems, Chen addressed her crew. "The Senate gave us this ship as an insult, a reminder of our place in their hierarchy. They think we're children playing with their discarded toys. Today, we show them what humans can do with the impossible." The Harbinger's engines hummed to life, sending vibrations through the deck. In the engineering bay, Rodriguez monitored the power levels, a grin spreading across his face. "All systems nominal, Captain. She's ready." Chen settled into the command chair, feeling the ship respond to her touch. "Navigation. Plot a course for the outer system. Let's see what our girl can do." As the Harbinger accelerated away from Luna, none of them knew they were about to trigger a series of events that would forever change humanity's place in the galaxy. The Senate had given them scrap, thinking it would keep them occupied and harmless. They were about to learn why humans had survived and thrived on a death world for millions of years. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing you can give a human is a challenge. From wreck to reckoning, the Harbinger sliced through space with an efficiency that surprised even its crew. 3 weeks into their shakedown cruise, they encountered their first real test. A distress signal crackled through the newly installed communication array. A mining vessel under attack by Craxian raiders. "Captain, we're picking up weapons fire," reported Lieutenant Sofia Kowalski at the tactical station. "The mining ship won't last long." Chen studied the tactical display. The Craxian ships were small but heavily armed, designed for hit-and-run attacks on defenseless targets. "Time to see if Paddle's modifications work. Bring the adaptive energy systems online." The Harbinger dropped out of warp at the edge of the battle. 3 Craxian vessels were harassing the mining ship, their weapons carving chunks from its hull. The raiders immediately detected the new arrival. "They're hailing us," Wang reported. "Standard surrender demands." Chen smiled coldly. "Let's give them our response. Target the lead ship, 10% power to the forward arrays." The modified sensor crystals flared to life, channeling energy in ways their original designers never intended. A beam of concentrated quantum energy lanced out, striking the lead raider. The ship's shields flared briefly before collapsing entirely. The Craxian commander's voice came through the comm, suddenly uncertain. "What ship is this? Your energy signature doesn't match any known configuration." "This is the Earth vessel Harbinger," Chen replied. "Break off your attack and leave this system." The raiders responded by opening fire. Energy bolts and missiles streaked toward the Harbinger, but the adaptive shields absorbed and redirected the energy. Each hit made their own systems stronger. "Captain, their weapons are actually charging our power reserves," Rodriguez reported, amazement in his voice. "The quantum harmonics are converting their attack energy into usable power." Chen nodded. "Return fire. Disable their engines." 3 precise shots later, the Craxian ships drifted helplessly. The mining vessel sent waves of gratitude as it limped toward the nearest station. Word of the incident spread quickly through subspace networks. Within days, the Galactic Senate demanded an explanation. Ambassador Thrixel's holographic image appeared on the Harbinger's main screen, mandibles quivering with indignation. "Captain Chen, you were given that vessel as a symbolic gesture of unity. It was not meant to be armed. The Senate demands you return immediately for inspection." Chen kept her expression neutral. "Ambassador, we defended civilians from pirates. Surely the Senate doesn't object to protecting innocent lives." "Your modifications violate 17 different technology sharing agreements," Thrixel spluttered. "That ship was never meant to be combat capable." "With respect, Ambassador, You gave us a ship. You didn't specify what we could or couldn't do with it. The Senate's response was swift and petty. They announced a friendly military exercise, a chance for humanity to demonstrate their capabilities against proper warships. The location, the nexus point, a strategic junction of trade routes. The participants, the Harbinger versus a full squadron of Senate peacekeeping vessels. Chen gathered her crew in the briefing room. They want to humiliate us publicly, prove we're not ready for equal status. Ideas. Wang raised his hand. I've been analyzing their fleet communications. Their ships operate on synchronized protocols. If we can disrupt that, and I've been studying their shield harmonics, added Okoi. They assume everyone uses the same frequency bands. Our hybrid systems operate outside their standard parameters. The day of the exercise arrived. 12 state-of-the-art Senate vessels formed a perfect formation around the Harbinger. The rules were simple. Last ship with functional systems wins. All vessels, commence exercise, came the command from the Senate flagship. The peacekeeping vessels moved with practiced precision, attempting to box in the Harbinger. But Chen had other plans. Execute scatter protocol, she ordered. The Harbinger's engines flared, not with the standard thrust the Senate ships expected, but with a quantum phase shift that made the ship appear to split into multiple sensor ghosts. The peacekeeping vessel's targeting systems went haywire. Now, Wang, Chen commanded. Wang activated his virus, a subtle piece of code that exploited the Senate ship's synchronized systems. One by one, their formation began to break down as conflicting commands flooded their networks. Meanwhile, the Harbinger's weapon systems came alive. Instead of brute force, they used precision strikes, disabling shield generators, communications arrays, and engine controls with surgical accuracy. In less than 20 minutes, 12 of the galaxy's most advanced warships drifted powerlessly, while the scrap heap Harbinger stood untouched at the center of the battlefield. The aftermath sent shockwaves through the galactic community. The Senate called an emergency session, demanding explanations for humanity's aggressive development. Ambassador Thrixel was particularly vocal. This is precisely why we sought to limit human advancement. They turned a decommissioned vessel into something that threatens galactic stability. The human ambassador, Elena Vasquez, stood calmly at the podium. Distinguished representatives, you gave us a challenge. We met it. The Harbinger proves that humanity brings innovation and adaptability to the galactic community. We don't seek conflict, but neither will we accept being treated as inferiors. Behind closed doors, the real negotiations began. The Senate faced a choice: continue trying to suppress humanity and risk driving them into opposition, or accept them as equals. The Harbinger had demonstrated that humans could take the galaxy's discards and create something extraordinary. 3 months later, the Galactic Accords were amended. Humanity gained full membership status with all associated rights and responsibilities. The Harbinger became the flagship of Earth's growing fleet, its hybrid technology setting new standards for ship design. Captain Chen stood on the observation deck, watching Earth rotate below. Rodriguez joined her, offering a cup of coffee. "Think they've learned their lesson?" he asked. Chen smiled. "They gave us scrap because they thought it would keep us busy and harmless. Instead, they taught us their technology, showed us their weaknesses, and motivated us to prove ourselves." "What's next?" Chen's eyes gleamed with possibilities. "We've got an entire galaxy to explore, Rodriguez, and now they know. Humans don't just adapt to challenges. We transform them into opportunities." The Harbinger's engines powered up, ready for its next mission. In the Senate chambers, representatives from a dozen species watched its departure with a mixture of respect and apprehension. They had learned a valuable lesson about humanity. Never give them a challenge unless you're prepared for them to exceed every expectation. As the ship entered warp, leaving a trail of quantum distortions behind it, one truth became clear to the galaxy. Humanity had arrived, not as subjects or children, but as equals, and they had done it by turning scrap into a masterpiece.